and welcome to Ramblings with Rebecca. I'm Rebecca Farnum, and today we're continuing the ever so light and fluffy topic of war. We're going to delve a little more deeply into just war, which we mentioned yesterday, in the overview of my class discussion on the changing legal understandings of war. I'm going to make one clarification on that since we had some questions and comments. Yay! Questions and comments! Keep them coming. Clearly, people and groups of people and nations have been using armed force to get whatever the heck they want for a very long time. Conquest and military action to rape and pillage, etc., has happened for a very long time. The distinction I was drawing yesterday was, I don't want to say purely, but essentially one of the legal discourse and kind of understandings from legal scholars about what war was meant to be and legally what it could and could not do as far as rights go. This is not to say that military force didn't happen outside of that discourse, but yeah, I was really trying to get kind of like legal understandings of the meanings of war, and is a distinction that at least my particular professor finds helpful to make. Anyway, people can debate that as much as they'd like, and please do, and this is what this forum is for. Anyway, okay, getting into just war then a little bit more. Just war really came out of theology, but was very, very quickly taken up by political and legal thinking. There's even less separation between church and state at the time that it came up, so yeah, came out of Catholic theology, quickly went everywhere as far as thinking and policy making goes. Bellum justum, I can't actually say Latin, that's I'm sure not how you say it. Anyway, war that's deemed to be morally or theologically justifiable. We're going all the way back now to first semester of my undergrad here with a philosophy course on peace and justice, which is when I did the bulk of my just war research. So we haven't delved into this yet in law school. I'm guessing we will, but probably not quite as much as I did in the peace and justice course. Yeah, Christian theory of just war was Augustine of Hippo and Thomas Aquinas. Though the actual idea is found in a famous and much, much older Indian epic, and some would argue that it's also practiced to some degree in ancient Rome and in other places. So it's not like, modern Western Europe invented just war. But obviously the actual terminology, yes. So Augustine of Hippo originated the phrase itself in his book The City of God in the 400s. And 800 years later, Thomas Aquinas, 800 years later than the 400s is still quite a while ago though, okay? Just bear that in mind. Thomas Aquinas, a Dominican friar from Italy, defines and sets out just war. And saying just war, for a war to be just and morally right and okay, it has to be waged by an authority to actually do war. So the state, generally speaking, right? So one person who's angry, grabbing 100 people and shooting at people, not going to be just war. 2, it must be done for a good and just purpose rather than self-gain. So there we go, not able to just because you want something. And 3, peace is a central motive even when violence is being used. So you're using violence to try and restore peace in some way. Just war theories expanded along with a lot of folks, theologically, legally, politically, militarily, blah, 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 blah. Now, 2 main tenets. Jus ad bellum, the right to war, the right to go to war, the right cause about war, and jus in bello, the act of war, so right in actually how you do warfare. So the right to go to war involves the right cause, focusing on not asymmetric injustices. You have to have the authority to do it and the proper intention about why you're going. The likelihood of success, you can't just do military action if, it's really just going to cause more harm than good. Only as a last resort and proportionally, so you can't, completely blow someone up because they gave you a paper cut. And then right in war, the way that you do war once you're doing it. Distinction, so you go after enemy combatants, not civilians, etc. Proportionality, again, minimum force, and only for a necessity. Be good to prisoners of war, don't use uncontrollable bad weapons, that kind of thing. Just war.